Hi, my name is Ngozi Okundaye and I bring useful legal tips just for you. Today, our topic is going to be centered around a misconception about the types of marriages in Nigeria. I've often heard people discuss and say, oh, when I want to get married, I'm going to do the court marriage, the church marriage, and the traditional marriage. Today, I'm here to give you some useful tips on clearing this misconception. And yes, the topic is not only important to people who are about to get married. If you are married already, you may also want to check to see if your marriage conforms to what I'm about to discuss. Broadly speaking, in Nigeria, there are two types of marriages. Yes, I know you're surprised. And the two types of marriages are marriage under the Acts and traditional marriage. Traditional marriage is that marriage that is conducted according to the law and customs of the bride and the groom, and it would usually involve the payment of bride price and the giving of gifts. It involves the coming together of both families. A lot of people basically understand what traditional marriage is all about because to a reasonable extent that is what we are used to. However, the misconception comes in the area of statutory marriage. First of all, I would like you to know that a statutory marriage is monogamous in nature. It is that marriage that is conducted in the office of the Registrar of Marriages or in a licensed place of worship. For a statutory marriage to be valid, there are certain requirements. 1. It must take place in a licensed place of worship or in the office of the Registrar of Marriages. 2. It must be done with open doors. 3. It must be done between the hours of 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. A statutory marriage must take place in the presence of at least 2 witnesses. There must be the issuance of a marriage certificate signed by the groom and the bride in the presence of 2 witnesses and the officiating minister or registrar. And finally, within 7 days after the marriage, the couple must return the duplicate copy of the marriage certificate to the registry for filing. You see, there is really no such thing as a church marriage. Why did I say so? A marriage conducted in a licensed place of worship and in which all the requirements that I just mentioned for a valid marriage has been adhered to is as good as a marriage conducted in registry. And that is why we see that there are only 2 types of marriages, which is the traditional marriage or the statutory marriage. What makes a marriage statutory is following the requirement that has been laid down in the law for the conduct of a valid marriage. Where a couple conducts their marriage in an unlicensed place of worship without going to the registry to register their marriage, if they have done a traditional marriage, all they may have would be a marriage under native law and custom. Now, you know that there are certain actions that actually amount to offenses in the conduct of marriages. I'll tell you. Number 1, it is an offense to knowingly marry somebody who is already married to another. That can earn you 5 years in prison. Number 2, it is also an offense to make false declaration on issues that are important for the purpose of marriages. Number 3, it is also an offense to knowingly contract an invalid marriage. And finally, it is also an offense to stand as a witness in a marriage when you know that you are not qualified to be a witness. So that will be the end of today's discussion. I know you're burning with questions and I'm eager to answer your questions. So drop a comment for me in the comment section. Drop your questions too. I would love to hear them and attend to them. And until I come your way again next time, this is me saying, have a wonderful week. And my name remains Ngozi Okundaye. Bye.